Ladies and gentlemen, John Woolsey is up next. Finally, we see a gentleman. And this is the very last one.
Thank you. Is it working?
Yeah.
Okay. Hi, everyone. You took my tagline, so now I don't get to deliver my tagline.
Please, enjoy.
You can do it again.
Fair enough. We're called Node Bio, and we develop biological crop treatments that make African agriculture more climate resilient, productive, and sustainable. This probably won't be very surprising to most of you who are here today, but even though Africa has contributed little to global emissions, its food systems are probably the most at risk from climate change. Over the last few years alone, there's been a variety of serious climate shocks that have caused serious financial losses for farmers and have even caused famine. These effects will only get worse in the future as temperatures continue to rise. In response to this, we developed Farm Chef, which is a biological crop treatment that helps make plants more resistant to drought and extreme heat. It's based on a novel technology for water stress protection that helps plants retain water and recover more quickly from tissue damage. It also reduces the plant's internal stress response, which allows the plant to continue strong growth in difficult conditions. The result is significantly higher yields and less risk of losses in case of a climate shock like a drought. The product has been designed to be easy for farmers of all sizes to adopt. It costs only a couple of dollars per acre to apply, a fraction of the cost of fertilizer. This low cost gives it a really strong return on investment for farmers. We expect farmers to earn 7 to 15 times what they spend on Farm Chef in additional earnings from the yield benefits of the product. It also works on a wide variety of crops. The product is also designed to reduce the environmental impact of agriculture. It has minimal greenhouse gas emissions, and it won't harm soils like an inorganic fertilizer. We've already gotten some great feedback from the market about our product. We've done small pilots with potential customers and gotten great feedback on the product's performance with sunflowers, onions, tree seedlings, greens, and a variety of other crops. The feedback we get is that drought is a top-of-mind issue for farmers and that they are really willing to pay for any kind of solution that will help them fight that kind of problem. And we've also gotten the feedback that our price is reasonable and that customers are willing to pay it. We have some future commitments for pilots from potential customers, including some very large growers. We also have a good body of scientific validation of our technology. The product grew out of our Chief Science Officer's research on the impacts of stress on African agricultural yields. In his published and peer-reviewed study done with cowpeas in northern Ghana, a prototype of our current formula improved yields by 45%, over 3 times more than inorganic fertilizer. We also have some more field trials kicking off soon in both Kenya and Ghana with academic and crop research partners so that we can continue to build this body of evidence. As a business, we want to focus on research and development and on sales and marketing of our products while we outsource the non-core functions. Our target customers are large commercial farms and also what we call farmer networks, which is any kind of organization that offers extension services to large groups of farmers. So these could be digital aggregators, large producers that have outgrower networks, co-ops, NGOs, and governments. So these kind of organizations are trusted sources of information for farmers, and they often finance or provide inputs for their farmers. So that makes them an easy sales channel for us to reach potentially thousands of farmers at once. As a team, we have the business and technical expertise to develop these kind of products and bring them to market. I'm an MBA and a former management consultant, but I've spent most of my career building products for the African mass market with companies like Cocoa Networks and Phoenix International. And my co-founder, Achi, is an experienced plant science academic with degrees from top institutions and several publications in high-impact journals. He also has previous entrepreneurial experience in Ghana's agricultural ecosystem. Towards the end of the year, we're planning to raise a $750,000 pre-seed round to fund our launches in Kenya and Ghana, and also to continue research and development of our products. We've already identified a lead for this round who's committed $350,000 and set the terms for the round. So please get in touch if you're interested in either investing with us or working with us. We're always on the lookout for people who are interested in a free trial of the product or people who are interested in collaborating on R&D. So thank you.
All right. Right on time. Your alarm just went off. Judges?
So, yeah, I mean, I have less experience in the commercial farming space, but with smallholder farmers, we have a lot of lessons in Africa. Two of the big ones being really hard to reach them, so distribution's a challenge. And then while there might be willingness to pay, they don't often have cash to pay, especially at the beginning of the season. Just talk about how you're thinking about those two problems and what solutions you guys have in mind.
Sure, yeah. Part of that is the focus on farmer networks. So there's, especially in countries like Kenya, we see that there's a lot of these kind of farmer network customers. They already have these large networks of farmers that they've developed. They have regular touch points with them. They're trusted sources of information, and quite a lot of them are actually financing the inputs already. And so, thinking about that could be anybody from an Apollo Agriculture to like a co-op. And so we can work with these kind of customers either as like an actual distribution channel or a sales partner. And because of like the access that they have to the farmers, we should be able to reach larger groups of farmers at once. And in terms of the cash constraints, yes, that's definitely real. So when we're selling to smallholders, we can sell in really small package sizes. So the way this is going to be packaged for most of our buyers is going to be little sachets of about 100 grams, and one goes in one backpack sprayer. So for about 150 shillings, somebody can get a backpack sprayer that could cover a half an acre to even a full acre of product. So it's also very affordable.
Thanks, and maybe one other way to make it affordable is obviously carbon credits. I saw cocoa on your slide, so I'd be remiss if I didn't mention this is clearly a very strong resilience strategy. Is that something that you guys have explored or that there's any opportunity for?
Yeah, we have a little bit of data from the lab that actually indicates that the product increases soil carbon, and then the other kind of environmental impact would be savings on inorganic fertilizer. So potentially, as long as the farmer has like reasonably healthy soil, they could get the same or better yields with significantly less fertilizer. Now, so that we'd love to test the carbon credits thing, and I think there's a growing number of potential partners for that. So we want to get more data first, partner with somebody who can do that kind of soil carbon testing and kind of understand the impact there, and then also partner with people who have the platforms that can track those kind of carbon credits. So definitely a potential future revenue stream for us.
John, thank you for the presentation.
Yeah.
Really amazing. I wanted to check with you. I've looked at your product development journey. I wanted to understand how far you are from actual commercialization and what the greatest challenge has been so far in terms of product adoption.
Sure. So the product is fully developed and ready to sell. The next step is to get government regulations. So this is a regulated space. Basically, anywhere in the world, if you're applying something to plants, you need some kind of safety check. So the good thing is, as a biological/organic kind of solution, that's a much easier certification process than something like a pesticide that could take 6 to 7 years. So usually you submit a dossier of information, they do a safety review, you do like 1 to 2 seasons of field trial, and then you can get your certification. So right now, so the investment that we raised was kind of split into 2 parts. So we're taking the first little bit of funding and using that to now kick off those regulatory processes. And so, of course, that's the biggest challenge for us. I mean, I think that the regulations are not crazy. I actually think they're quite reasonable. You need to keep people safe, make sure that the food is safe. But it definitely created a challenge in fundraising because you have this chicken or egg problem. So people want to see traction, but you can't get traction without money in our industry. So now, fortunately, we can start to make progress on that.
So have you received any revenues from the pilots right now you're carrying out so far?
Yeah. We've gotten good feedback from the farmers, and we've seen good technical results as well. So, like for example, we had a farmer who had a field of sunflowers and onions in Machacos County, which is super dry. They had a horrible dry spell, and actually all the crops pretty much died except for the ones that had been sprayed. And so now those farmers are super interested and they want to become customers, and actually they're always like kind of breaking down my door to become distributors or salespeople. And I think like probably the best piece of validation that we have is that people that we work with keep wanting to become our distributors and salespeople. So I would say like we have the good technical results, but I think from what we've heard from customers, we're solving a really big problem for them, and they see it as something that they can afford and would spend money on.
Right. Thank you, John.
John, just a quick one. Can you talk me through the unit economics of each device to understand?
Sure. Yeah. So per kilo, we expect about $5 cost landed in country. It's quite an affordable product. It's purposely based on materials that are already widely traded in other industries, and it has a relatively simple manufacturing process. We're basically just blending powders together and packaging them. So total cost of about $5. We can sell it at a wholesale price of $7, and then depending on what the supply chain looks like to reach the end customer, you may have another distributor involved. So maybe we're expecting a retail price of about $10. So that leaves us a margin of like 30 to 50%.
All right, great. No further questions? All right. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no
Let's
problem.
appreciate him.